Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pop-out window card. Okay. This one I made using the little ladybug stamp set, which is available during celebration for a qualifying order. But I'm not using that. This is my prototype. This was the first one that I made. That's just all the ingredients I've used. But with the prototype I found that it's not a good idea to use a very detailed pattern at the back there, because it does detract from the scalloped edges. See, that one's a lot better. So I'm changing colour scheme and just about everything else I think for this. I am using Rococo Rose, and to start off with you need a card base that's 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8 inches, which is 21 by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5. You need a piece of Rococo Rose which measures 6 7/8 by 5 3/4, which is 17.4 by 14.5. Then you need 3 pieces of Whisper White, and these should measure 1 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 4.8 by 13.9. And then 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. I'm planning like that, although I do have another idea in mind. I'll tell you about that when I get there. And these should measure 1 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches, which is 4.5 centimetres by 13.6 centimetres. You will also need 1 Whisper White scalloped circle, which has been cut using the Layering Circles framelits. It's number 6 on the scallop one. We'll also be needing some of these as well, 3 of these I think it is. But I'll tell you all about those as we get there. You will need plenty of scraps for other layers and your images. So that's scraps of Rococo Rose and also the Whisper White. So to start off with, we're going to do some scoring, and I'm going to use my trimmer for this. So first of all, on your 6 7/8 side, you need to score at 1/2 inch and then move this over to 2 1/8, score, move that over to 4 1/4 and score, and that should be 2 1/8. Yeah, that looks about right. Sorry, the scoring for metric, first of all you do 1.3 centimetres over on this side, and then you move that score line over and you come in and you score at 5.4 centimetres and then 10.8 centimetres. Okay, so that's all the scoring we need doing. So with your 1/2 inch, fold that backwards. When I say backwards forwards, backwards to me is the mountain fold. Okay, so that goes towards the mountain folds, and with the 1/2 inch that end, you need to bring this one forward. Make sure they line up nicely, and then the one in the middle here, that comes forward. Okay, so you've got a shape like that. Not quite sure what you'd call that. It's like a Z with a little hook on it. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to die cut the hole in the middle here. Now this is number 7 of the straight cut layering circle dies, and this one here is from the stitched rectangle dies, which is this set here, rectangle stitched. Okay, so it's just one on its own, this one. I'm not going to die cut that yet, I'm going to use it as a guide. So I look for which front or back. The front is the one that's slightly longer than the one at the back. So this is my front. That's my number 7. Just double check that because I've got them all lined. Yes, that's number 7. And I'm also going to put my sentiment down there. So I'm just positioning it to make sure that it looks about right. So I want that gap to be about the same as this one here. That looks about right. And then so that that looks good spacing. I think that's okay. So remove that because I don't want to cut it out. Just want to cut the circles. I was going to say, did I turn that over the right way? I know I did because I could see the word Sizzix on it. Okay, so cut that out. Normally I say save that for another project, but if you take number 6 and then you can die cut the next one of the layers that you need with that. I find that I'm always saying I can use that for another project, and all I do really is collect them, finish up with bags loaded with them. So now I'm trying to use them, but I know what will happen. I'll say, oh, I'll keep that, I might be able to use that. So that's that one, that's that. I don't think I need my big shot at the moment. Now I have done all my stamping, die cutting and everything like that ahead of time. But I'm going to show you what I've done. The Happy Birthday I'm using is from Magnolia Blooms. I used this the other day, I believe, and I explained that this is in our little brochure, the one which is primarily aimed for beginners, but it's got some lovely stamps in there. So what I have done is I've done that one there, and I have done, where's my big one? Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. I've done the big one as well, that one. I've done 4 leaves. These have been coloured with Rococo Rose blends, and that is just the light Mossy Meadow. There should be another leaf here somewhere. And this one here, which is going to be on the window part, I'm going to be putting it on there, that I've actually stamped with the, oh, I used the marker, but I'll show you that as well. Oh, there's the other leaf, found it. And there's that, which is part of this stamp. I'll show you how I did that. And there's that one as well. So, if I get myself a piece of Whisper White, I don't know if I'll get everything on here. So first of all, that one's obviously straightforward. I don't need to show you anything on there. The only advice I would give you is when you are colouring the stems, use the tip end of your blend. These are quite straightforward, but I will do just one of each for you. But that one I really want to show you, and that one as well. So let's, where's my ink pad? Oh, right here. Okay, so what you'll need is, you'll need one of these. I will stamp them all, but I won't colour them all. That one. You'll need one of these. In fact, no, you need two of these. But that needs a bit of space around it because you're going to cut it out with a circle. And leaves, I've done 4 of these. I don't know how many I need. That one I'll show you in a jiffy. We'll just, as I say, I will stamp all of them so that you know all of those that you'll be needing. Assuming that you're going to be doing the same as this, that I want to show you as well. Okay, so that's all of them, except you want 4 of those. So first of all, this one here that's going to be cut out with the circle, it's this like splodgy stamp. Now the first one I did, I used, I put that into my ink pad and that's what came up, and I thought I wasn't happy with the difference in the colour there. I mean, I appreciate that there are differences between blends and ink and what have you, but then I did that one which is much closer, and the way I did that was I used my marker pen. If I turn this round here, so this is my Rococo Rose marker, a Stampin' Right marker. I just went over it. I won't get rid of that one that it came up as a funny colour because I'll be able to use it somewhere. So just make sure you go over, you get all of it covered, paying particular attention to the edges. Okay, and then before you stamp, just give it a half. There we go. What I have done, you might notice that I've got blue mark on my stamp there, and that to me is the top of this stamp. I mean, it doesn't really matter, as you can see, because it goes over the edge, falls short of the edge and what have you, but I considered that those 2 lines there, the black line, the thin sections, I considered that to be the bottom of my stamp. So I always line it up like that. So I've got the top of the stamp there with my blue bit, and I always put these 2 sections at the bottom. Can you see that? The screen in front of me is so dark today I can't see. Okay, so those 2 separate sections there, I count that as the bottom of the stamp. Okay, so there was that one. That I said to use the pen tip, and when you do it, just try touching it gently. In fact, I've done that one better than I did the one here. Right, let's put that away. So let me just show you how I do one. And I start off with the light colour. This is light Rococo Rose. In fact, let me do this one because it's smaller. I just go around all the edges, and this applies whether I'm doing a big one or a little one. The only one it doesn't apply to is if I'm doing the buds, like this one. and it does depend on which flower I'm doing, but generally what I do. Okay, so that's the light. I don't worry about it's not very even at the moment. So now I take the darker one and I just put colour at the bottom, the darker colour, and then I use my lighter one again to blend it in. So first of all what I do is I just go in a circular movement around the edge of the darker bit, and then I go round doing this properly to make it come up nice and solid. And then by doing that it really helps the darker colour there to blend in. One other thing that I do with these, because unless I use my Stampin', these don't tend to come up very dark, so I use my black, dark basic black pen, and I do colour in the centre. And I'll do half of it so that, and bring it up to the screen so that you can see what I've done. Okay, so you can see the bit that I've done. I haven't worried about all the spotty bits on the outside, but just the main centre bit. I think poppies really should be solid and black in the middle there. So I've done that, and I've shown you that. Was that all out? All I wanted to show you as far as colouring was concerned? I think it was. This one is going to be die cut using that. These all get die cut with the painted labels dies. Okay, so they're the leaves. That's a small poppy, that's a big poppy. Okay, there. And the poppy stamp set I've already shown you. So if you buy that now, you get that as a bundle, which saves you 10% on the price. So I think that's all I need to show you as far as colouring and everything is concerned. No, it isn't. It's this one, isn't it? I didn't feel complete. Right, so obviously you could just cut the stamp in half, which I haven't done. I do occasionally. She says looking around for her tape. Oh, brought it over already. Right, I use normal tape. Now the bit that I want is this here. In fact, shall I bring you down? I'll probably forget to put you back up again, but right, okay. Now, make sure you've got the end folded over. And I'm just going to put that on there first. And then fold that over. Make sure it overlaps that one. So that's the main part of it done. Oh no. There we go. Let's fold that over. Now, I've got two flowers here to be careful of. Where's my... Got my spatula on the other one. So right, so that flower there I want, but that one I don't, and I don't want that one either. So, first of all, I'm going to cover this side up. Right, that's it. Now this is really very, very tight, so what I do is I try and push my tape down inside there. Now fold this over again. Let's cut that off. Now I just got to cover up that one, but you'll see why I'm using quite long pieces here. There we go. Left that one a bit long, let's just fold it over a bit more. Okay, so right, now you'll find these are very easy to pull off all in one go. Straight into the rubbish bin, and then you should be able to stamp that beautifully, leaving yourself enough gap whichever way you're going to be cutting this out. Okay, now as you can see, my flowers on this side are a little bit on the light side. Don't know whether I would really bother about doing this, but I'll do it to show you. That's a brush end, don't want that. In fact, no, I'd use this, wouldn't I? This is my Stampin' Right marker. And on this one only, because it's lost the actual edging. But shall I do that one as well? Okay, oops. Was I out of screen there as I was doing that? I bet I was, wasn't I? Okay, sorry about that. I forgot I've got you right down low. What I did was I went over the edge. Imagine this one is missing. What I did was just very gently went round the edge like that to fill it in. I did it just on that little bit there and that bit there. Okay, so let me move you out before I forget altogether. And then that one I die cut using that square, which I didn't write which one it was, but it is, these are from the Layering Squares framelits, so it's number 4. All this information will be in the box below, and I will measure that as well. Right, so that is, I'm happy now that I've done all of that. So you need to die cut that one. Die cut all your other shapes and what have you. So you've got all of those done. And this one I die cut using the stitched rectangles and that one. So that was number 2 from the regular size. I call these ones the thin ones, but these are regular. Okay, so that was number 2. And I need to stamp the sentiment as well, which is here. Just having a look around to see if I've got a little scrap or something somewhere, but no. Oh, lovely. Okay, so that needs to be die cut. I think that's probably the only thing, isn't it? So I'll get my Big Shot back up again. And then it's just a question of putting everything together. Can't see if that's straight. Of course it's not, I just knocked it flying. Little post-it note over here. Oh, I put you on upside down again. No, you're right. sometimes if you've got a bow in the, you know, a bow, it will make your dies jump quite easily. And that's better, I think. Just get the Y from the day. Right, stay still now, don't move. Oh. Oh, well, if it's crooked, then I would just have to do a new one. Fancy being dictated to by a die. There we go. Looking at it sideways, it looks very crooked. Oh, fine. Do I need any more circles? No, I don't think I do. Right, let's put our card together. So we need this and we need this. So what's going to happen is we're going to adhere that onto there, but we are going to leave a really small tad exposed. So if I can just show you that. Okay, can you see how much the two don't meet up together? There you go, you can see that bit. Okay, so what you need to do is, once you've got that, hold it there, hold that there, and make sure this is open. Close it all up without letting it move, and then you get yourself a pencil, and then you draw a line there and there. Now this is my own bit of my own modification. So what you need to do is just cut below that line in a sort of a curve up to the score line, and the same here. It doesn't matter if you've, like me, you've left extra over this side. Just don't go short, that's all. And then before we start sticking this down, I'm going to remove my pencil marks. Right, okay. Now, you're going to turn your piece over, so that bit you have just cut, you're going to glue it down onto the inside. So I'm going to use my Tombow for this. But be careful with it, you don't want any leaking, because it'll make your entire card close down. Okay, so that's that bit. Now, what we're going to do is, okay, this is the bit we've just stuck down there. This panel here, we're going to put Tombow on that, or whichever glue you prefer. As this is a card that's got movement to it, and chances are the recipient will play with it, opening and closing it, because it's a nice card to receive. You want something that's pretty strong, and they don't come much stronger than Tombow. Okay, so this bit here is going level with my die cut there, and I'm just going to pop that there, and I've got a few seconds to get that lined up properly. Yep, that's good. Press that down. And now, if you close this bit up again, I like to work sideways on this one, more Tombow, and you're just going to put it onto those two little tabs. Okay, little tab there and a big one this end. Again, don't put too much so that it starts oozing out. And then you just close that. And give that a good press so that Tombow can do its job. Okay, so there's your card, all nicely fixed in place. So now you need your Whisper White scalloped circle. You need your Rococo Rose that you had die cut from the circle that you'd cut out of there. And then you want your poppy that you stamped with the what I call the splodgy stamp. Okay, so adhere those three together. Right, now before we put that in, we need to put our layers. Now what I said about a possible change is, I was wondering what it would look like if I did this. Put that one there, that one, and then have my flowers on them. That would be better on that one, wouldn't it? So what do you think? In fact, that long one would go better on the black one as well, wouldn't it? So if I did that there, I think that would look nice. You in agreement with me? I know you're shouting. So put your Designer Series paper onto your Whisper White and then your Whisper White onto here. This is a problem when I'm doing something on the hoof. I didn't know quite whether this would look right or not. I thought it would, but until I actually see it, I can't decide. This paper, the Designer Series paper that I'm using, is from the Celebration. Oh, what's it called? It's the Bees Designer Series paper. It's honey something. That's not clever. I will find out and put it in the box below. By the way, this will not close down, okay? Don't think that you've done it wrong because you've got the bump there. You haven't. In fact, you could put these panels on before you actually stick the piece inside your card. There we go. So obviously I'm not going to pop anything up on dimensionals on the inside of my card. And also bear in mind that that is going to be covering over there. So when I put that one in, I need to bring it down. Tweezers. Level with the circle, I think. This one can be below the circle. These two go on these black pieces nicely because they don't have a surround to them. what I mean is the flowers, the individual flowers have been die cut, so they got, it is just up to the flower. There we go. I'm going to pop this one in now so that I can see how it's going. And all I do with this is I put some Tombow here, keep the card closed, keep the glue away from the circle, and then position this right in the centre. Okay, just give that a few seconds to get a grip. In fact, that's going to be popped up on dimensionals. So let's be doing that. What have I done with my adhesives? I think I just need the large ones for that. I don't want to open the card too soon after the gluing the circle bit in, otherwise it'll press on the side and move it over. I certainly don't want, oops, that's upside down. That's going to need something extra. Right, let's get my flowers in first. In fact, I'll probably leave that until after I finish the video. I don't want to just rush ahead with it and find that I do something that I don't really like. Okay, not sure about the leaves though, because there's not really much room, is there? I think what I'll do is just leave a gap all round that doesn't have glue on it. I'm going to pop that there. Decide where I want leaves to go, and then I'm going to cut this bit off. There we go, that's all right. This one's going to be more difficult. Didn't think about this. Oh. I didn't plan it, but I do recognise that my dress is very much like Merry Merlot, which is one of the colours in that designer series paper that I chose originally. Right. Oh, you're gripping quite well, okay. A little bit of Tombow, and just slide that back in again. Trouble is, if you do two, then they tend to look like ears, don't they? So I'll put these two together. There we go. Why aren't you sticking down? Do you not put glue on you? There we go. Oh, I'm really quite pleased with how that's turned out. I'm so pleased I did the black and white. And there we go. It's very plain around here. But check my blog Sunday morning and see what I did to finish this off. As you can see, I've got quite a plain black at the back there. Much better than having something really quite patterned showing through. So I hope you like that. Hope you give it a try. There's that one. I'll let you see my prototype, even though it's not brilliant. And I hope you give it a try. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or any comments to make, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always very happy to answer your questions, and I do enjoy reading your feedback. To open the box at the bottom, depending on, first of all, you have to be watching the video on YouTube, and then depending on which device you're watching on, if you're on a laptop, PC, something like that, there'll be show more under about 3 lines of writing, and if you click on that, the box will open. If you're on something like a mobile, there'll be a down arrow on the right hand side, so you need to click that to get it to open. But in there I'll have all the measurements. I'll measure the circles, as I said, and all the products that I've used. There'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. In fact, everything that you need to know about the video, really. If you enjoy seeing new cards every day, please check out my blog. I normally put a new design on every day, and that's www.janbcards.com. And please, if you've liked my video and would like to see more, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click on the bell so you get a notification. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.